Hello, everyone. I hope you've been doing well, enjoying the World Cup. We're Argentina. Congratulate our friends and colleagues of Argentina for the World Cup conquer. We're going to talk about some comments regarding Qatar World Cup 2022 from a systemic point of view, right? So, what we mean in some things regarding systemic point of views and other things regarding what us coaches have on our minds, that sometimes our voices is not heard. So recently in Spain, there was a controversy in the press because national team coach Luis Enrique started commenting or talking about his thoughts on Twitch regarding his personal life and work as well. This made me realize that in most cases, a coach's voice is not heard, not only by colleagues, but by the great majority of people, right? So most of the times, the what gets through people, what gets through fans, and even also other colleagues is the voice of the commentators or the journalists, okay, who most of the times give their opinion of what they're seeing, or what they saw, but sometimes they don't have the right tools to analyze football correctly because it's very complex, okay, from a systemic point of view. And this is not sometimes what the coaches think, but the voice of the coach most of the time is not heard. They only have brief press conferences where they mostly answer questions that they ask them. Some of them are really stupid, by the way, and we lose a lot of time, precious time, maybe getting to know things about the operational strategy or what was the problem in the match or how they, or sometimes maybe the next day, the day after, where the coaches are able to analyze through video analysis what the problems were in the match, so that they faced. So Luis Enrique talked about, for example, the differences between training in quantity and quality, where he concentrates more on the sessions of the quality of the session and not the quantity. It doesn't matter if he trains 2 hours or 2 hours and a half, 3 hours in the pitch, but more concentrated on maybe training 1 hour. But the quality of the training has to be very, very, very high. The standards have to be very high. For example, there's one of the thoughts that I heard, and I found it quite interesting, because she was being criticized in Spain also because of the volume of training was very low. About the opinion in football, and I'm going to try to translate it. In a press conference when he was the head coach of Medellin, Nacional de Medellin from Colombia, Juan Malicho, who was a mentor of Pep Guardiola and also worked as his assistant in Manchester City, talks about the opinion in football, right? And I'm going to try to be translated as much as I can, or as perfect as I can. The others are opinions, and they're all valid. It doesn't mean that all the opinions are respectable. What is respectable is the right to give your opinion. But not all opinions are respectable. So what he means that we all have a right to give our opinion, right? And we should always have that right, because people have died and have fought for that right to have their opinion. But that doesn't mean that the opinion that you hear is respectable, because, and he gives an example of butterflies, the process of butterflies in Cameroon, in Africa.
No quiere decir que todas las opiniones sean respetables, ojo, como se suele decir, no. Lo que es respetable es el derecho a opinar, pero todas las opiniones no son respetables, Que yo, sobre los procesos de crecimiento de las...
For example, me, in the case of the process of butterflies and how they grow in Cameroon, okay, I can give my opinion, but that doesn't mean that my voice is respectable.
Mariposas en Camerún.
I can have an opinion about this topic, but I can say, okay, for me it's too slow. My right to give an opinion is perfect. People have died and fought for this. But my opinion regarding the process of butterflies, not all opinions are respectable. Okay, the right to give your opinion is okay. So everyone has a right to give an opinion, and it's perfect. Okay. The thing is Not because you have a right to give an opinion, that you know what you're talking about, in other words, and that is not respectable. Okay, so we as coaches must always listen to everyone, and we must always take into account who is saying it and what tools does a person have for them to say this. Okay, but that doesn't mean that what they're saying is respectable. Okay, so we should always have our own opinion regarding what we see and the tools that we have to analyze most of the processes in football, either training or in a match. Okay, Tiki-Taka and possession football. This was another controversy in Spain regarding possession football and Tiki-Taka, and people saying that it's over the Tiki-Taka style, the possession style. And I want to give because this term Tiki-Taka in Spain was created by a journalist who has already passed away, Andres Montes, in TV, Spanish TV, when they used to show La Liga in around 2003, 2004, where he named once after seeing a match of Barcelona, Tiki-Taka, okay? And they asked Guardiola, and it's in one of his books regarding Tiki-Taka, what does he think about it? And he says, I hate Tiki-Taka, I hate it. Tiki-Taka is about passing the ball to each other and no other reason, without any intention. And this is good, this is no good. Don't believe what they tell you. Barca didn't have anything to do with Tiki-Taka. That is something they made up. Don't believe this, okay? So what he means is that Barcelona did never play Tiki-Taka. And Tiki-Taka was an invention made by a journalist, and it has really nothing to do with what real Barcelona football was at the time was really about. And that was about positional football, okay? Positional play, okay? Which is a type of football where you try to have control of the match, have control of possession, okay? With short passing, you try to get your team from one box to the other, okay? From your own box to the opposing box, with the highest amount of players surrounding the ball. In case you lose the ball, you're able to press immediately and gain it again, okay? And try to always get to the opposing box with the highest amount of players as possible, as many as you can, okay? This is positional play. This is not Tiki-Taka, okay? So a lot of people started talking about Tiki-Taka and started mixing it up with positional play, what Guardiola plays and still does in Manchester City, and started talking about all these things. But unfortunately, this is not true. Okay, this is not doesn't apply to really what really it is about. Okay. And now possession as a parameter in the long term. So what they found out, according to big data, is that after analyzing thousands and thousands of matches, that normally teams who have the longest possession in the match normally are the teams who finish high and battle and fight for the championships of the competitions that they play. Okay, so normally the teams that have a highest possession normally are the ones who either win the championship or the title or come in runner-up or third place or fourth place. Normally they end up in these positions because they have a longer possession normally than the opponents. They have more opportunities to score. The opponent has less opportunities to score, and they have more shots on goal. So this is basically the reason why most teams try, and if they're able to have more possession of the matches and more control of the matches. No? The possession to control the opponent and the game, like I said, the more you have possession, the more you can control the opponent, the more you can control the game, okay? And possession as a means to defend, this is very important, because if you are having more possession than the opponent, for example, you have 70% of possession, the opponent has only 30%, of course you have to take into account, according to big data, expected goals, the place and how the opponent had its chances of scoring on you, right? But of course they're going to have less amount of chances. So the amount of scoring opportunities the opponent is going to have is going to be reduced quite dramatically, okay, if you have more possession than the opponent. This is the main reason why it's very important that a lot of people understand positional play, understand tactics. And this is not something that we can deny, because it's very easily shown in the information that we see, in the data that we see according to big data and based on thousands and thousands of matches, okay? Here we're gonna have Julian Calero. This is a very good example that I wanted to place. And he's gonna talk about the differences between playing nice and playing well, okay? And this is a topic that in my home country, for example, here in Uruguay, it's talked a lot about this topic, like they're antagonic or they're opposing styles. And it's really very dumb, in my opinion, the way they analyze it, because they don't take into account how this coach is going to explain it, why, okay? And they are really not antagonic, they're not opposing at all, okay? They can be complementary, actually. And he's going to explain why, what is playing nice. I'm going to try to translate it.
Comentaba lo de jugar bonito.
Ah, sí, no, mira, es que la gente lo confunde. Yo te voy a explicar, ¿vale? Voy a intentar explicarlo como se lo explicaría a mi hijo.
I'm going to try to explain it as I can explain to my son. To play nice is to play well with the ball.
Una cabriola, un caño, eso es jugar
nutmeg,
bonito, incluso asociarse. Pero jugar bien al
but to
fútbol,
play well,
tiene 4 fases. La
football
fase de
has 4
ataque,
phases:
la fase de defensa, donde
attack,
también hay que
defense,
jugar
and
bien.
transition.
¿Qué haces cuando pierdes el balón? ¿Y qué haces cuando lo roban? Si eso lo haces muy bien,
If you do it well, these 4 phases plus the set plays, you play well football.
Si a eso le unes
If you add good technical capacity or ability, you will play well and you will play nice. Okay, so in other words, what he brilliantly explains is that playing nice is when you are attacking. Okay, right? But playing well is just managing or handling the 4 phases, doing the 4 phases very well, playing the 4 phases very well, plus the set plays. Okay, that's playing well. So they're actually not opposing. They can be really, they should be really complementary as well. Okay, so if your team plays nice, they're only playing offensively. Okay, but they're forgetting the other 3 phases. Okay, playing well focuses more on the 4 phases, on the whole as a system, and also inside this whole is we also have the phases set plays that we also have to handle. Like we're going to see an example of Croatia of having problems on the corner kicks, for example, where Argentina scores a goal with 2 passes. Okay, complexity of the game explained through big data. So in matches, normally there's around a 40% percentage of fortune in a match. So this means that it's more difficult to predict one match, okay, because the percentage of luck or fortune in one match is much higher. As the matches normally repeat, this percentage of fortune or luck gets reduced, okay? So this is why sometimes it's difficult in the World Cup especially to predict, okay, a World Cup match, for example, okay? Because we have a lot of factors that come into play, and especially in one match, okay? The expected goals as a parameter to predict the winner. Okay, the expected goals normally is a parameter created through big data. Okay, where you're gonna take into account or take into consideration not only the amount of scoring situations that you're going to create, like that used to be done through statistics or shots on goal, but where are these scoring situations and how they're going to be created, because it's not the same thing if I shoot on the goal but I'm on the corner of the box or outside in the corner of the box with one defender on me, that if I am finishing a play in the middle of the small box with no opposition against the goalkeeper. The percentages are totally different, okay? And this is through metrics, this is taken into consideration through big data, and we give a percentage of these scoring chances that we create and the opponent creates, and that amounts to a total number, okay? And that normally predicts how our team is going to do in the whole season, okay? In many matches. For one match, the percentage expected goals, sometimes it can be tricky, because sometimes in one match, sometimes it cannot be accurate. For example, give an example, in the World Cup, Argentina versus Saudi Arabia. Argentina had like 3-something or 2-something of expected goals. Saudi Arabia had only 3 shots on goal and had a .50, and the match was won by Saudi Arabia. What happens? Argentina was the national team that had the most expected goals in the whole tournament, the World Cup, and they won the World Cup. So normally, and the second one was France. And the third one was Brazil. So most of the times, these predictors normally they are not going to be so accurate in one match, but after 7, 8, 10, 15 matches, they will be accurate, okay? This always comes out evenly, okay? Now, football, soccer as a collective sport where the most parity is found of all collective sports. Now, football, soccer is the collective sport. There is more parity of all collective sports: basketball, hockey, volleyball. So it's much not easier, but it's most probable that the weaker team is able to beat the stronger team in most occasions. So it's not so easy to predict as far as in other sports, for example. This is another fact that they found out is very interesting, okay? Now, these are what I was saying, the expected goals created by the team, which goes from the bottom, okay, left corner all the way to the bottom right corner, okay, 250, and from the bottom left corner all the way to the top left corner, we have the conceded goals, okay? So we're going to see that the team that was highest in expected goals was Argentina, and also the lowest in conceded goals. So this is quite accurate, if you ask me, as far as dealing with the champ. And the second team, as far as this XG created and XG conceded, is Brazil, okay? And France comes nearly immediately after, okay? England also had a quite interesting, according to the XG placement also, okay? And then we have also Spain, okay? And so this is going to give us more or less also not only the what really happened in as far as, because I can have possession of the ball, but if I don't create scoring chances, that possession of the ball is not so useful, okay? So in this case, we're going to see really what's really, in my opinion, most important is that how many situations my team creates, how many situations do I concede, and there where I see where the problems of my team might be. For example, in Spain, they have problems with the forwards, for example, okay? So you see that they did not concede a lot of scoring chances. After Brazil and Argentina, they were the next one, but they weren't the team that created the most scoring chances, okay? So you have to see, okay, I had long possession football, but why did I not create so many scoring chances? So this is something that all coaches must, really take into consideration for a good analysis, apart from all the videos that we might see of the teams, Okay, we're going to talk a lot about Morocco and his mid-block defensive, defensive mid-block. Here we're going to see it against Spain, and their behavior of the mid-block, as we see as they move according to where the ball is, but always maintaining this block very short, okay, between 20, 25 meters long, and the width also around 40, 45 meters. So this block is always concentrated, and also the lines in the block, okay, they're all different most of the time. So this doesn't allow the team who has the ball to be able to find easy passing lanes, okay? And the other thing is that I talked about in the last video, the active zone and the passive zone. So we're going to see teams creating or building up against Morocco and having 3 or 4 players or footballers behind the active zone and the passive zone. So this is a huge problem because, like we see here, if in this case Spain has 4 players behind the active zone, in the active zone they're going to have a 6v10, and it's going to be very difficult for them to progress, okay, and to create superiorities, okay, or to create space for them to attack. So basically, always this aspect I thought was very important, and I think a lot of coaches and a lot of teams we saw missed in on it, the active zone and the passive zone here in the build-up, okay? Here we're going to see the same thing again against Spain, the same problem. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 players, now 5 players, now 4 again, so it's always changing, between 3 and 4 most of the time, behind the active zone. So this means that they're playing 6v10, 7v10, okay, in this 20, 25 meters, okay? And this is going to be very difficult for the team to really build up, okay? And also, you're always going to see Morocco when they never go back. Unless the ball gets behind them, they're never going to retreat, okay? And also, taking into account if the team is able to surpass them on the sides, very good defensive marking inside the box always also, you know. So very interesting. I remember the first time I came upon this type of defending was in Spain around 20 years ago, because here in South America, teams do not defend this way. And it was very difficult for me, really complicated. Then as you start analyzing, you see what the problems or the mistakes your team is making, and you try to correct them and train them, of course, you know, try to give tools to the players to how to beat this type of defending, for example, right? Either to play with against a mid block or to play against a defensive block. And you see the organization, as soon as the forward establishes pressure, you're going to see them pull up and reduce space, always maintaining the block 20-25 meters, always very short, okay? If they full back, if the fullbacks full back, immediately if there's pressure on the ball, they're going to try to reduce the space again, okay? So always is this situation, okay? Again, the same situation, okay? Morocco versus Portugal, again, mid-block. Well, it's the same problem with Portugal, always leaving three players. We always have to find the way to have balance where when we're attacking, we're thinking we're preparing to defend, but not leaving too many players behind the active zone, because we're not going to be able to progress, okay? So we have to think of ways to achieve this in the matches with our team, okay? In this case, using the World Cup as to give ideas, to show the ideas different coaches about what we mean, because this way it's very easy for me to show you guys and coaches and people who work in football, and we don't have to be creating a lot of material as far as software regarding video analysis, okay? It's very easy to see, very easy to understand, and very easy to see. Now you see that they allow only penetration through the outside lanes where there's really not a lot of danger, okay? Now we're going to see Morocco against Portugal again through a mid-block, okay? And like I mentioned before, very disciplined. The spaces are very tight. Not a lot of possibilities to filter passes in through the block, okay? And always, okay, you're gonna try to attack me, you're gonna do it through the outside lanes. I'm not gonna allow you to attack me through the three lanes in the middle, okay, where there's the most danger, okay? And immediately ball comes out, reduce space again, okay? Stop when the ball stops, okay? And always the block very solid, okay? Then we have the goal against Portugal or Morocco, okay? Basically, there was a big mistake of the goalkeeper in this goal, but we're gonna see how they're gonna build up from the back, which is not a conventional way, not so conventional, in my opinion, because there's a lot of space in between the players, okay? The sectors of the team, but still, they're able to do it their own way. And the thing about Portugal is this compact block that we see in Morocco, we don't see it in Portugal. So you see the forwards near their own box and the central defenders in the middle of the pitch. That's around 45 meters long. Okay, so this compact that we see, block that we see in Morocco, we don't see the same in Portugal. Okay, and you're gonna see how they look through a third man. Okay, and then we're gonna see how they play a lot with the opposing leg playing on the sides. Okay, on the flanks. Okay, and then through a short build-up, ball's gonna come outside, and the cross and the miss by the goalkeeper and the good finish by Emre Sidi. Okay, Morocco is a team that had a lot of known players that play in Spain, especially. They're the ones that I know, like Borno, Emre Sidi, Ufal. They had also CH, who plays in Chelsea, but of course they don't have big superstars, but they had a very good solid block. I think the coach did a great job as far as the concentration of the team and playing their style. Okay, that most fit them in these situations. The tying goal, Croatia versus Brazil. Okay, here I think we talked about in the last video, the mistake of Brazil, a huge mistake, I would say, on an unforgettable mistake at this level, where the disorganization that they have when they're building up the play from the back or in the construction phase, or in the second phase of the construction or the finalization phase or finishing phase, really it's really a big mess. Coaches should have at least an assistant at this level to tell them to place them high up in the above the stadium, where they see these mistakes and alert the coaches, okay, of this problem, because it's really incredible how the position that Brazil is in is really amazing. I really don't understand how a team with these players at this level can be positioned this way. You can see it's really incredible. It's really this organization. It's really amazing. Okay, and this is a big problem. And then the mistake starts there, but then it continues because you see players crossing the pitch. You see players, some retreat, some don't know what to do, and they don't know how to block the pass. They don't attempt to block the pass or pressure, and the defenders keep retreating inside the box. And of course, Croatia has a kind of a lucky bounce as far as the shot deflects on the defender. But it's really incredible how at this level a national team can make such a big mistake. Okay, and in my opinion, this was the favorites in my opinion, but it really, I don't know what happened really as far as coaching. Very unfortunate, no? Here we're going to see Croatia, what we were talking about Morocco as being a solid block. Croatia making a huge mistake, and their forwards pressing too high. The line of defenders keeps on staying at the center of the pitch. So the block of the team, the length of the team it gets very, very wide. Spaces are created, and with 3 passes, Argentina goes from one goal to the other. Incredible. It's a penalty awarded at this play, and we're going to see it again. How with 3 passes, okay, Croatia starts pressing too high. Okay, players are going to come inside the box while the defenders are going to be in the middle. So this means that it's going to be around 50 meters long. Okay, too much space in between lines created. Okay, and Argentina easily, and especially with central defenders like Otamendi, who are very strong on this type of football, because he played for many years under Guardiola in Manchester City. So I really don't know the operational strategy in Croatia for this match. What was it? Okay, but okay, so they're gonna just look for third man passes. You're gonna see that there's a little bit of bounce or rebound on the defender, but there's still a 2v1 in this situation. Here we see it. Okay, and it's a third man pass, and he leaves the ball, unfortunately for Croatia, perfectly served for the midfielder of Argentina to give that long diagonal vertical pass, and leaves the forward of Manchester City, Julian Alvarez, along with the goalkeeper. Okay, so this is too easy, too simple. This cannot happen to a team of us. When we're playing at this level. I know, of course, that seeing it from here is very easy, but it's really, as a coach, we cannot allow these type of goals. Same problem, corner kicking on attack for Croatia, and we're going to see the poor balance that they have. But up to this match, they had played actually defensively very well, but I don't know what happened for this match. We're going to see in Argentina with 2 passes, they're going to go to goal. 1, 2, and then it's just a sprint too. And then also we see that the defenders keep retreating inside the box. They go in all the way. It's really quite amazing how at this level with top players, how they do not know how to handle these situations. With 2 passes, Argentina goes from defending a corner kick to scoring a goal. And of course, the balance. Remember what we always talk about: when we're attacking, we're defending. When we're defending, we're attacking. It's always seen through a systemic point of view. Okay, we don't see one phase separated from the other. So this is an exact example. Okay, bad balance on a corner kick, goal. Second goal, France versus Morocco. Again, France on defensive phase, but preparing to counterattack. There's a quick counterattack through the middle that kind of slows down inside the box, and then Mbappe comes in and does a genius move around 3 or 4 players shoots and deflects off a defender, and another player pushes it in. But again, the same thing. We can see France preparing for a counterattack while they're defending through the middle. Okay, you see them very clearly here. There's a steal, forward pass, and he's gone. He's gone through zone, 14 zone, and we're going to have again here a 4v4, 5v5. This play kind of slows it down, and then Mbappe goes through 3 players very quickly, shoots, deflects, and the other forward pushes it in. Argentina versus Netherlands, the first goal. Okay, we're going to see this. This is a very common micro principle in Barcelona. Dribble through one way, and Messi knows, and pass through the other, okay? Very, very intelligent how Messi executes this at high speed, which is why this is probably the reason why he's the best player in the world, one of the best players in the world. He's able to recognize and do this very quickly, okay? He's going to penetrate. The big mistake, in this case, in the Dutch national team, the covers there, they allow the player to get the inside route, okay? The inside lane, and this cannot be allowed, this cannot be done. So you can never let a forward get inside the fullback and the center back, okay? Again, Argentina versus Netherlands, the second goal. Okay, we're going to see through a throw-in the bad placement of the Dutch national team, okay? And then just a kind of really silly play, because it's a play that really doesn't have a lot of danger, and instead of the defender just being aggressive and covering the cross and not allowing him to cross or not allowing him to penetrate. First of all, we see the bad shape on the throw-in. Again, this player, if we're going to play with so many players far back, okay, our team is supposed to defend as a whole, not just 6 or 7, and the others are I don't know what they're doing. Okay, so we have to cover the zone or the space that we have. We cannot leave so much space. So here, as in a throw-in, with one pass to the throw-in, they break the whole block. And then it's just a 1v1 situation, almost loses it, and then there's penetration on the side, and there's just a 1v1 situation where players absorb. There's no one inside box who can create havoc or danger, and still, makes the foul. So really a really silly play by in this case by the Dutch national team. And here we have the Dutch first goal, which they recognize the weaknesses of Argentina, which many teams did not do. The center defenders, all of them are below 1.85 m, so they're all very small. Otamendi's a defender who can go very well on the high balls. Okay, he jumps a lot, but the others aren't. Okay, and nobody exploited it except the Netherlands. Okay, in the last 10-15 minutes. But like France, when they exploited this, they scored, they tied the game, and then they stopped. It was really amazing. Both teams did the same thing. So this is it. So mainly what we wanted to show is some situations in the World Cup seen tactically from a systemic point of view. Of course, the first step is to recognize when we're analyzing our team or we're analyzing the opponent, our own mistakes, and the next step is correcting them, okay? Knowing how to teach them, because a lot of people can analyze correctly, but the thing is later is, okay, how do we create situations where we're going to practice, we're going to train these situations so they don't repeat again. So we always have to be analyzing our teams, especially the coaches that work on performance football, and correcting constantly, because these mistakes are always going to show up, okay? And especially when you're playing at a top level. This is something that I noticed when I started coaching. When I coached in Spain in third division, where we had a lot of players from first, second, and second B division playing in third, because there was a lot of money at the time in that division. And one little mistake, it really make you pay. So at the top level, when you play against top world players, one small mistake is a goal. So defensively, So you always have to be trying to predict or train these situations and create these situations so your players can train them. Okay, as I said before, you have my email in the first slide, always at the bottom. Okay, if you want to contact me, any suggestions, any questions, and if you haven't subscribed or liked, please do and share. And I hope to see you again in the next video. Okay, I hope you stay well, and hopefully we'll see you again next time. Take care. Bye bye.